the South Lanarkshire councils are closing their 37 community halls and 7 libraries due to having a funding gap of 7 million in the year of 2025 to 2024 to 2025. And we're also going to talk about what kind of leadership they can use to make their situation better. First, we're gonna talk about transformational leadership, which was a concept introduced by Burns in 1978 and further enhanced by Bass and Avolio in 1990. It focuses on inspiring and motivating your followers to go beyond personal interest for the greater good of the community. And Southern Lanarkshire Council could really use that, since all closing all those community halls and libraries would have a negative impact on the community. So going back to transformational leadership, unlike transactional leadership, which relies on rewards and punishment, transformational leadership uses shared values and ethics and emotional connection to drive change and inspire the people. According to Nothouse, transformational leadership enhances moral motivation and performance, and it has its four components, which are called the four I's, which are in idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individual consideration. These principles enable leaders to build trust in the followers, promote creativity, and support their team's growth. In South Lanarkshire's case, transformational leadership could foster collaboration in the community and empower the community and prevent them from losing vital youth facilities.
The style of leadership adopted by the South Lanarkshire Leisure and Culture in regards to closure was transactional. According to Connert and Lewis, transactional leadership consists of a cost benefit exchange between leaders and followers. More specifically, it's a transaction of a value that a leader controls and for which, in exchange, a service is given by the follower. The success of this leadership style is dependent on the acceptance of the hierarchy system that it involves and also on the ability to work according to this exchange mode. The assumption is that this approach is successful because people feel motivated by rewards and negative reinforcement. However, although it is still popular, it has several limitations. This analysis reveals that the South Lanarkshire leisure and culture approach was wrong as they adopted transactional leadership account in a transformational leadership context. According to Nordhaus, transactional leadership is based on a model where the exchange occurred between leaders and followers, and where people follows a leader only because they are promised a reward or for fear of negative reinforcement. While transformational leadership is characterized by changes and innovation achieved through emotion, values, and ethics, and consists of a process where connections are created through the engagement of individuals. This increases the level of motivation, morality, and commitment in both leaders and followers. This also means that, as Bass and Avolio argue, transactional leadership is not appropriate for situations of crisis, as he fails to adopt innovative approaches while giving more importance to financial aspects rather than the community. And this is exactly what happened in this situation. Firstly, the decisions were made top down by South Lanarkshire Leisure and Culture officers and then handed out to the South Lanarkshire Council once the deal was already done. During this process, the local community wasn't consulted until the decisions were already made. Secondly, the focus was given only to financial aspect rather than the impacts that the closure would have on the community, antisocial behavior, etc. Finally, the arm-length trust structure adopted by the SLLC was detrimental because of the self-interest and lack of accountability proved by the leadership, which caused destruction of community trust, 1 million required to fix the damage, negative effect on staff morale, loss of reputation, increased antisocial behavior, lack of opportunities.
In terms of legislation, Part 5 of the Community Empowerment Scotland Act 2015 states that communities have the right to request to buy, lease, manage, or use public assets, including lands and buildings, such as legislation can be applied to the issue related to the closure of the youth and community facilities in South Lanarkshire, for which the community wasn't timely consulted, and it is also an example of community empowerment that requires public authorities to comply unless there are reasonable reasons to refuse. About leadership, South Lanarkshire Council should invest resources in transformational model trainings with focus on community leadership by establishing partnership with local colleges and universities in order to assist both council staff and volunteers with skills in collaborative work, facility management and decision making. This would help to make the community organization such as SLLC independent and sustainable in the long term, rather than having to rely on temporary support like Community Fight Back Fund grant. An example of community empowerment through leadership is the North Lanarkshire Council experienced similar issues related to facility closures, and the councillor Jim Lodge worked with the community and helped to save 40 facilities. In 2023, North Lanarkshire Council successfully dealt with the crisis as the councillor A. attended community meetings, B. acknowledged their concerns, C. put his professional reputation at risk by representing the community. This was inspiring for the community to organise campaigns, apply for fundings, and offer solutions to retain the facilities through partnership and volunteer initiatives. About structure. South Lanarkshire Council should restructure the relationship with South Lanarkshire Leisure and Culture in order to avoid issues related to accountability in their current arm's length trust structure. One of the solutions would be appointing advocates within the SLLC and SLC who give priority to community empowerment over finance. These advocates should have a background in transformational leadership with experience and knowledge of BAS and AVLO 4 Eyes model, which focuses on ethics, vision centered on community, innovates problem solving, and customized support for different communities.